and gentlemen, welcome to the Block Sauce, your weekly web show that serves up the juiciest discussions in the world of gaming and Web3 culture. I am your host and ReNFT ambassador, Jim Kieran, and we got a little something today that's going on. I hear the news that somebody's... Hang on, we got a report.
This is not a drill. This is not a drill. We have Sinjin back on the panel. I don't know what to do about this.
So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. Let's go.
I don't know.
Let's go.
I
Hey there, sauce enthusiasts. It is time to bring the heat with another episode of the Block Sauce. And of course, you know, there's a new face. He's back. The man, the myth, the legend, Sinjin. How are you doing, Sinjin? And the rest of you guys. You guys have been here.
I'm very good.
I don't know. Like I said, if I was Sam right now from Wolf DAO, I would be a little nervous right now with that intro because you killed it right now, and Sam kills it every single week. I gotta give him credit, but I gotta say, you know,
Win sound effects, Sam. Get the sound effects, buddy. That's
I like a sound effect.
Oh man. No, I like Rod's DMing me, and I'm like, crap. How can I throw this together really quick? Let me brainstorm, dude. I can't believe this actually worked. I was expecting to screw it all up, but Sinjin, I am so glad that you are back. Definitely looking forward to some fire takes. You always have the input that tends to agree with me, and lately nobody's agreed with me, so it's been a struggle being here by myself fighting the fight. But yeah,
I understand. These two are godless wanks. Today I speak like a Japanese sumo.
5 minutes in, we already got the wanks. Love it.
I did the hair like Goku today because I was like, damn, Sinjin's gonna come back. I was like, I gotta be ready. You know what I'm saying? These hot takes.
You look a very sexy boy.
So what have you been up to, Sinjin? I know that you're over in Asia.
High.
Oh, it's good to be back, baby.
Oh man. So what have you been up to, Sinjin? Like tell us kind of what's been going on over there, and kind of give us. We've seen on our side of the world like Web3's kind of popping over there. So what's your experience and kind of like what's been going on with the discussions you've had and what you've seen in terms of, you know, adoption, acceptance, Web3 in general, if anything?
Yeah, you know, actually, it's been fantastic. Like absolutely fantastic. I came here in mid-June, and I've basically done this whole rotation of Asia, like Korea, Taiwan, Bangkok, Singapore, back to Korea, Taiwan, and then I'm back here in Bangkok, and I'll be flying back out to Korea, and then finally making my back to New York. I might go to Utah and meet two jokers in Utah who are part of this commune. And
no, not worth. You're gonna get stuck in the compounds. And don't do it. They have a trap ready, dude. I believe it's some like locked room to just put you in, and then you're never leaving Utah.
I can see that. I mean, who willingly stays in Utah?
I don't know. I mean, if you're Mormon and you like to have many wives, I think it's the only place you can be, right?
No, it's the Mecca of Web3 for North America.
Well, then Web3 in North America is in a lot of deep shit.
Isn't that why we're in a bear market?
Oh, the bear market. You know, in Asia, it's not like that at all. Like, I mean, I guess, like, where do I even start? So, like, okay, I attended Token 2049 in Singapore, which was great. Mm-hmm. Korea Blockchain Week I attended, and we had our first kind of booth at Taiwan Builders before then. And every place that I was in Asia, of course they loved our game, My Angry Yakuza Girlfriend. All the kind of like nuances of the game, they understood it. Like, you know, there are tons of movies out here like, My Wife is a Gangster, or, where the woman is the, protagonist and basically beats the shit out of everybody and kills everyone for revenge or whatever. So that's like a genre that's kind of established. But like in the West, it's like, Fatal Attraction, some psycho bitch is like coming after you and whatever like that is going to cut your balls off, and she's just fucking nuts and she dies in the end. But in Asia, the women here, get their revenge and they kill everybody, and then they're hero, and then they get to pick who they want to sleep with or whatever like that at the end. So all like the nuances about our game, the parody about it, like the girls are throwing champagne bottles and like exploding handbags and like boomerang shoes in our game. It's meant to be a funny, like satire type of game. And in the West, it's just kind of like they look at our PFPs or they hear the name and they kind of shut down. And what's been really clear, the first thing that happened was that when I was talking to those people who were interested in our games, whether it was to fund it, whether it's an L1 out here or whatever, they were actually from gaming. Like they weren't just gamers who like did some esports stuff or whatever like this. They were actually from like publishers who had been hired, or they were basically, on behalf of the publishers going out. And so like you can see a trend here where the VCs had funded the AAA gaming studios here who actively have been engaging in Web3. And so they're the ones who are onboarding games. So like they're actually, it's a gamer to gamer, real industry type of talk, or like even the L1s that are here, the representative for their gaming divisions are actually, I met one guy who's, ex-NetEase and whatever like this. And so everything that I'm like talking to them about our game or games in general, like it was such an easy conversation. Whereas like all the conversations I've had in North America, it's like I'm explaining it to like someone who's like, what's an American word that's non-offensive that means like there's something wrong with them mentally?
Gutless wink.
No, not gutless wink.
He's a moron.
You're explaining it to a toddler.
Explaining it to a toddler who doesn't think they're a toddler, who actually thinks that the baby food that they're eating and the diaper that they're wearing is actually what it should be like.
Oh, that's a DJ.
And then, no, it's not a DJ, but and then you feel like nuts because like all you're wearing, you're talking to all these like diaper wearing moronic analysts who want to pass themselves off as like someone that they actually know something, right? I'll give you so many fucking examples over the course of the 1 year. I tell these guys it's our first vertical slice. So they go, don't worry, we understand game development, right? And the analyst says the graphics are not very polished. Like what the fuck? Like the first, and then the other analyst says like we just wanted to pass that off to you, or like
Buddy.
Why AAA graphic?
Yeah.
This is like a phenomenal way to explain that. Like, and I think Sinjin and I were just having this conversation offline. Is like the VCs and understanding how they look at things. They don't have any experience, right? Again, I come from the traditional markets where fundraising is completely different in the Web3 space. And in the Web3 space, it's like, pretty pitch deck. Yes, that's going to wow them. When you actually give them a financial sheet to look at and like calculate like their EBITDA or whatever they're going to calculate, they're like, yeah, this number looks good. And that's it. That's all they know. They don't really know how to read it. And it's the same thing with the game. They don't even know what they're looking at. Sometimes it's just that they come into the space because of the opportunity. They see the cash and whatever, and they really don't understand it. And that's, I think, a lot of America. If you look at Asia is a gaming hub, right? Like if you look at like the industries of where it is, America is not. And again, it's not in America. We look at like the nice shiny object and we're like, oh yeah, that's a nice shiny object. That's it. But look at American games that have done well, right? Like maybe like we could count, like some of them are not even shiny objects. But again, we just don't know. Like it's a lack of knowledge and experience that some of these people are in these positions for.
Yeah, but the thing is, so I come back and I feel like it's almost like this huge homecoming, and I almost feel like the last 2 years of doing any sort of outreach in Web3 community has been a total fucking waste of time. I could have just like not launched any NFTs or anything like that. Just come out to Asia, finish my game, and just launched it and just be done with it.
But then you never have me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have you, Doug, and Jorge and Jin Karen and all the rest. And so, you know, as Animosita always says, it's the friends you make along the way. That's his line. He'll like say like, this is all fucked up and this is all screwed up. But, you know, at least you made some friends, and that's all that really kind of mattered. But like I'll give you some really interesting points. Okay. So some of these okay, so everyone bitches in America how the regulation just fucking sucks. And let's be honest, everyone gets fucked by the SEC has come out and pretty much said, you know, you will get rich by, you know, investing with us and you'll get this much return or whatever like that, so on and so forth, right? Okay. And, you know, and then they say, we can't work in this regulatory environment. In Korea in 2018, they banned all token issuances. So every single Korean publisher in Web3 opened up a subsidiary, most of them I would say, in Singapore to pursue Web3, right? And so their Web3 products are not targeted to the Korean market. They're targeted outside. Just so they can stay in and be competitive in Web3, they opened up a subsidiary in another, you know, country in order to, you know, keep the development going. So, like, I mean, if you talk about a really hard regulatory environment, I mean, Korea is totally fucking banned, but that doesn't stop the Korean companies from having found a solution, right? Another thing is that this debate over like NFTs are bad or good or whatever like this, right? They don't say that in Asia at all, right? Like the gamers are basically like, oh, this augments the game. Cool. Tell me how it is. Oh, it requires a wallet. I know crypto requires a wallet. It's meant to be kind of awkward. It's that stage of the game right now. But is there a point to this? Oh, there is a point to this. Okay, fine. Then I will, you know, give you my wallet address, and then let's just try to figure it out together. Because I know we're at the beginning of this industry, and I want this alpha at the beginning, right? You know, shit like that is just, it's just totally fucking different. Right. And I think what's funny, though, too, is like you'll have the Western gamers who are in Web3 and or PFP hunters or, you know, what NFT hunters, and they'll get rugged and they'll be like, what the fuck? I had no idea this is such a fucking injustice. And then meanwhile, like the Asian people who like get rugged, they're like, shit, I should have gone out earlier. Like fucking broke the cardinal rule of these fucking Ponzi shit, you know, like they know what they're getting into and they're not making excuses here, right? Whereas I feel like a lot of the Western, you know, investors in the NFT space or buyers or whatever like that, it's like they think that they're the exception, you know, and that, you know, they are going in for like a kind of almost Ponzi type of, you know, play here that's definitely been hyped up, and then they get burned by it. And then suddenly they're like, how the fuck did this happen? This is all bullshit. So, I mean, you know, there's this kind of like real progression that's happening in Asia, all across Asia. And one other point that I, you know, was really kind of like came out was like any guy that's under 35 in Asia is a gamer. You know, that's just like the whole population of every single country you go to. I don't care if it's East Asia or it's Southeast Asia or whatever like that, or whatever they're gaming on. Like, you would be completely antisocial as an Asian person not playing video games, whether it's console or whatever. And so then that is, how do I say it? Like this base understanding. And so like, even if they haven't played an NFT game, right? Because they're gamers, they're willing to just kind of look at it and they're open to the technology. But interesting thing as well. So one publisher has 220,000 daily concurrent users in their Web3 game. No shit. No shit. Another, what do you call it? Asia-based blockchain, 30,000 daily concurrent users in their metaverse. In their metaverse. Right? I'm not going to drop who they are or whatever.
Crypto Twitter is echoing like North America and European sentiment and completely like forgetting about Asia.
Yeah, they just have no idea. You know, so like, you know, yeah.
I mean, marketing is completely different in Asia than it is in North America and Europe. So I mean, it makes sense
Yep.
that like again, Asian culture in like Japan, North Korea, South Korea, like everybody.
Let's
has
not
their
add
own-
North Korea into this
Yeah,
broadcast, please.
All right, but you get what I'm saying is that like every culture.
I don't want to
has
get
their own way.
fired.
Yeah, I don't want to like get kidnapped.
Because like in South America, it's completely different. Like I
Yeah.
understand it. Like it's just again cultures and how marketing works.
So, my last conclusion is like, so what I've been doing is like, I knew that we were, getting to the point of the end of the alpha. I wanted to make marketing partnerships out here. I have done that. I wanted to reach out to some agencies that I haven't talked to for a long time, marketing agents. I've done that. We've hired a time marketing manager, and I've set up for 4 countries, basically our marketing channels, which are completely independent. They're not online. They're more like going along like local agencies and doing, live events. I guess I'll have like a ton of cosplay ladies running around and cosplay guys.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to be more
I'm
equal
here.
opportunity in my older age,
I'm here to be your cosplay.
Where's my saucy guy NFTs? I need like some thongs.
I
or
can
some
model.
Speedos
I
or
can
something.
model for you. We can do it. Let's do it.
Don't worry, you know what? Like, I'll definitely bring you guys over to Asia, and you guys will have a great time. I'll parade you guys around. Look, these are my white friend, and he kind of white, but he Latin white,
Pretty
and
much.
he not on drug. He okay. He look like a surfer.
So Sinjin, like, talk to us about a little bit about marketing and like what you're looking at these marketing agencies versus how you look at marketing over here in America, and like
So,
you said you set up several ones. Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
So, I think there's a couple of things is that because the population density in Asia is so high, real life events have a big impact, and events and marketing events are not like kind of set to like luxury brands or whatever like that. It's like if you launch a new store or whatever like this, like there are different types of events at all particular levels. And then also, local games do a lot of like in-person activation and stuff like that as well. Right. So, the biggest gripe I have about like, when everyone says, mobile is going to be the way for, Web3 penetration, right? And, they look at this mass market of, mobile games and hyper casual and so on and so forth. And yet they keep on missing the elephant in the room, which they can't answer. And that's why they keep ignoring it, is the 30% that you pay to iOS and Android, right? And you can say, okay, well, we're going to side load it, or we're going to put it off like to like a website or whatever, so on and so forth, right? But if you do any of that shit, then you've also contradicted yourself in the sense that all these fucknuts are also saying, oh, we have to have a custody solution. Okay, so yeah, you have this seamless custody solution on your your wallet and stuff like that on your mobile phone, right? But like, who the fuck trusts a mobile like app that you can't get on iOS and Android? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like kind of like the most important thing about it is like fundamentally, it's like if it's like here's my PC game, but you gotta play it on a Mac, and you gotta install like a a virtual like operating system and then run it on your Mac, right? That's how you're gonna play this PC game. It's like, okay. Like the very first thing about like a mobile app is like if you can have it native and in the app store, that's where you want it to be, right? But if you're not going to have it there, then you're not going to have this great like kind of user we call experience with the mobile phone. And then so like it's kind of like people are kind of missing, or they don't have an answer for the elephants in the room, like open, like stable, growing economy. Don't have an answer. So let's just fucking ignore it. Okay. Like distribution channels that are not like legacy existing Web2 channels that go into the mass market. Well, yeah, we can't really use them, but we'll assume that we could use them because it's a mobile device, right? So they make up all this kind of bullshit about everything else, right? But I'm from that generation where it was PC games. And, I did, real money gaming and stuff like this, and, social casinos, right? Like for me, marketing was like, there were no marketing channels. You had to make your own marketing channels. You had to go into the country and you had to find out, how do people really act? Do they react, really interact through Facebook or through like, meetups or through like hobbyists or in like neighborhoods or whatever. So I've gotten hardcore visceral in that aspect. But the one thing that has changed is that they said, you need to invite some streamers to these events, right? And get that kind of online presence. But whereas like every single Western kind of game marketing or Web3 game marketing starts with like, what kind of creators or influencers we're going to put on you, right? And the thing is, whether or not your game is an alpha or you've done an NFT drop or you're in a first playable or whatever, like they keep saying this, right? But you're going to spend this money and you're going to do these tournaments, but your game is not ready to actually like retain any players. So what the fuck are you doing? Right? Like, I don't get it, like, at all. Like, the advice that I hear from all, like, it's not that I don't want to spend my money. I swear to God, you could add up, like, all the money that most of these Web3 gaming studios have ever spent on marketing. I've spent more in my career on marketing, right? For sure. Like, not because, like, I had, like, money that was going to come into, like, this ad channel and I was going to get the acquisition back. Like, I mean, just pure, straight off fucking marketing, right?
So we do have a comment real quick. Somebody said the main reason mobile is so huge is because of the discoverability from app stores. If you sidestep the app store, you have to create your own discoverability. Now, I agree with this because there's one Web3 game that I played. I knew it was a Web3 game. And the only reason I found it is obviously I'm in Web3 and they're on Twitter. So I found their game, went and tried it out. Now, what you mentioned just a second ago, having to go to external websites. So I knew that their characters were NFTs. And I'm used to buying stuff in app. So I bought some characters in the app. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then I go and check my wallet on the computer and I'm like, wait, where's my characters at? They weren't NFTs because I bought them through the app. I had to go to their marketplace on their browser and buy the characters there. So I basically burnt money, in a sense, playing a Web 2 game, essentially. And I think you're right. We need to find a better way to manage this, but I'm not sure how much leeway we can really manage it because this is kind of coming from the app stores themselves saying we're going to take a cut of your sales. You're not allowed to gate content using NFTs in the case of Apple. Do you think that we might see a shift, or is this going to be something we have to fight for? Or can you imagine a better idea currently, or is this something you haven't solved either?
I have not solved it because it's not solvable at the moment. Like
the app stores.
But think about it. Fortnite had this problem. It's fucking Fortnite. It's one of the most successful video games of all time, right? And
now it's not available on Apple.
That's right. And then they got fucked by Apple. So if Fortnite can't figure this shit out and negotiate it, do you think you fucking dumbasses in Web3 with your dick in your hand and like your fucking hat out are gonna convince Apple to like change their mind? Like, give me a fucking break. And the funniest shit is, like, I was on this one space and this guy said, I'm so sick of like this kind of, it's an excuse like about the 30% or whatever like that. I go, because you fucknuts haven't actually addressed it really. And some people are like saying, well, you know what, there's solutions where you can put it all monetization off on the website and stuff like that. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I mean, you're not the first people to fucking think like that, and the App Store knows that. And once you start making money, they shut it down. Like, oh, really? They've done that? Like, have you guys not like studied like anything from like the actual real world of gaming?
Like even the secondary markets, even the secondary markets on Apple, if you sold an NFT, they were going to get their 30% cut. That's why you can't buy natively through the apps anymore, because obviously nobody wants to give up their 30%. But the thing that kind of crosses my mind in this discussion is with the secondary sale, that's not coming from the company itself. That's me selling to somebody else, right? Where does that 30% come from? Does it come from the royalty that the company makes, or are they taking the 30% from me at that point? Because if I'm having to pay the 30%, I didn't agree to that. I didn't put that app on the App Store. See what I'm saying?
So as long as it's happening off the App Store, technically they wouldn't take it from you if it was happening on a secondary market, right?
Well, I'm saying, so like the Magic Eden app, for example.
Yeah.
Let's say they allowed me to sell my NFTs and stuff through the app itself, which is on the App Store.
Yeah.
Where does that 30% come from at that point? Does it come from their royalties since they are the app owner, or does it come from me, the seller? See what I'm saying?
It would absolutely come from you. That wherever the transaction happens, that's where they would take it out of. Now, how they want to split that up, right? It would be up, but they're going to take their fucking 30%.
Oh, of course.
For every transaction. Just who's the one who's going to pay for it, right? But here comes the crux of it all, right? So if we're talking that one of the main 10xers for me is not ownership, because we have effective ownership in Web 2 already. It's really the open economy aspect, right? No, I mean, like, okay, look, I'm not concerned that I bought like $300 worth of dancing emotes on Fortnite that Epic is going to rug me. I did that for research, okay, boys. I did that for research.
Yeah, okay.
He went and found all the saucy emotes.
Yeah, I want to see how they're doing the rigging and stuff like this. But anyways, look, I'm not
Same
like
with the Farlight skins, right? Too.
Yeah.
That was all research, I'm sure. Jiggle physics, right?
Yeah, jingle. Hey, you're saying that, not me.
Hey,
right?
that's for VR
gotta get
chat.
that in the game. Gotta get
No,
an important
jiggle
aspect.
physics is more important in VR. Okay, you can get away with it outside of VR, but in VR, it's got to have jiggle.
You never know. There might be some VR on Sinjin's roadmap. We just don't know it yet.
No. Let's not even get to that point. But if open economy is really one of the the 10x aspects of it, and you're paying a 30% tax on every transaction, tell me in an open economy that you pay 30% like sales tax, right? For every transaction. Imagine you went in a store and you paid 30%. Right, for every transaction you happen, or your business, right, and you cannot deduct your net because it's a gross 30% tax, and you're paying the government 30% gross on every sale that you made, right? It's just not possible to make something work where it's not the end product of what you're getting, but yet it's still, as an open economy, there's a liability against that. So let's say I sell you an NFT. But the NFT can like mint and earn or produce tokens, and then that creates a liability, right? So even though I have sold you that for $100 and I pay 30% off and I have $70 left, right? But I still have like possibly $100 or $200 worth of liability that's going to come out of that NFT, right? So now I'm like, instead of $100 to deal with like $100 worth of liability, I'm like only got $70, right? And that's like in a before any deductions, right? So the only thing I can conclude here is that for mobile, right, if you have an open economy model, and that's what I feel like, that plus the asset of the NFT and stuff like that, with the ownership and stuff like that, then you can't really execute a 10x Web3 model on mobile, right, using the existing channels. And then you have to find your own channel. And what is the only channel you could actually do? Sell your own mobile phones with your own OS, right? Literally, that is the only way to do it, or a Steam Deck, or whatever, and Nintendo Switch, right? And that is such a huge reality, and such an impossible obstacle that people they conceptually don't even want to like go there, right? Like, that's just fucking nuts. So let's like totally fucking ignore it. But go ahead. Try to make an open economy model through the iOS and Apple Store. Android Store. Let me know like how much money you burned and how many people you fired in the end, right? Of your studio, because it's just not going to work out. So for me, PC is kind of the way to go, not because it's mass market, because it's really one of the only ways to go where you could create your own distribution channels. And the fact of the matter is, if you start with hardcore players, right? Maybe if we launch my particular game, it might be a year and a half or even 2 years before we get enough traction, right? But at least we're building up to that, right? And I know that it's very trendy in the this current time that everything is gonna go viral. You got to pick the biggest like content creators and influencers who have like 20,000 followers and 20 million followers or whatever the fuck, and your game's going to fucking blow up tomorrow. And that's the expectation, right? And it is the expectation for a AAA game that spent like whatever, $600 million. They need that return. It's just like a fucking, feature film, right? And games have a shelf life, right? But, is that really what these games are really going to be for Web3? Is that really the cycle that they're just going to be based off a hit game and we're going to blow up and make a ton of fucking money for a year and a half, 2 years, and then it's going to die down. If you think about it, I think Azra Games has like, and they've mentioned it in some ways, and I believe this too, like this kind of idea of forever games, that if you own the assets, if the games can like, have like, constantly downloadable content that, expands and so on and so forth with the assets and so on and so forth, that these games lifespans now should technically, be longer, right? Because these are the assets you're holding. It's the same thing like in Web3 right now. Like you could have a really shitty Web3 game that launched like 3 years ago, but they were married to their bags, right? And they don't have capacity to take on new games because they're busy shilling their fucking dying, wobbly ship of a, whatever whale ship that just fucking half dying, lying, like, floating half upside down. But yet still they're like, this game is the motherfucking best game ever. And then when the bull market comes around, you fucking watch it, it's going to fucking come back alive and you guys are going to all be wrong. But it's because they're so married to their bags, they can't help it. Right?
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy. Like you made a funny point there is that, a lot of people are married to their bags in Web3 gaming. And I keep hearing the bull market gonna, make these games more popular. Like the market and a good game have nothing to do with each other, right?
That's
like,
right.
To me, it's so idiotic hearing it all the time from like some people saying, "Oh, bull market's gonna be this, that, and that," and I'm like, what does a market have to do with a good game? Like,
that's right.
So yeah, man, it's funny you say that.
No game developer ever thinks about making their game based on the market conditions, unless you're GameFi and you've packaged some like DeFi shit.
And as a gamer, I don't go check like Microsoft stock before I go and buy Starfield, right? I want a good game.
Yeah,
that's really all I want as a gamer, is make something fun. Like the example that I usually use is World of Warcraft, obviously. I wake up in the morning on the weekend and I'm like, man, I can't wait to jump into World of Warcraft. Where's the Web3 game that makes me wake up and want to jump into it, right? We're not there yet.
Fableborn. I bought the mint today, and I bought it at like the final mint price of 70 Matic, and then Sparksy was making fun of me because I said like, oh, it was selling for like 69. I think it's above the mint price now. But I didn't even check the secondaries. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna support it. The mint's still open, and I have Matic, and I'm gonna go buy one, right? But I love those guys. Yeah, I love those guys at Fableborn. They're like the wholesome Web3 team. They're doing it right. They're being transparent. They're really trying hard. They're trying to like get the feedback and then be very proper about everything. And
yeah, and I think to add to that is, again, they raised a good amount of money and they're making something out of it, right? How many games raised a lot of money in this market and didn't do shit? And
that's right. They raised like whatever 7.2 or whatever, like 7.5 million, and people are fading them because you know why? They don't say degen fucking shit in their Discord, and they're nice and they're doing it properly. But you know what that means, though? There's no fucking gamers in Web3. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Hello.
They've done everything right. Yeah, one.
Yeah. The thing is that there's meta gamers in Web3, right?
Yes.
And they're all for a financial, and the issue with that is, again, like a Fableborn, it's unfortunate that they're like in this transition period of where the market is, where we're trying to go ship good games and actually bring on gamers that are not here to buy the NFT and then hope the bull market to sell in the bull market, because that's the financial aspect of it, right? Like they're actually building and shipping a game that's playable for people that want to play it, but it's unfortunate that they're in the Web3 space right now when it's in a transition period where, I don't know, it's hard, right? Like I think, what did they do? Like 1,300 mints or something like that? Which is not bad.
Like, 2,300. Yeah, not bad. And
not bad. But it just shows like there's just no gamers in this space that want to buy into something for the gaming aspect of it. Because there's no point.
It's funny when I look at everything they've done, they've like done the best job that you can do in Web3 gaming.
Yeah,
they successfully secured the like KOLs of Web3 gaming. Like I remember seeing Rich, other people that I know in this space posting on Twitter about it, being like, oh, look, like this dude ruined my dungeon. Like being
Fast
able
food.
to pull that off was like literally what led to this mint and to everything like that. It led to the Wolf DAO was like degen into it. Like I think 30% of the supply is held.
Yeah, at
by
least
Wolf
20%.
DAO.
Wolf's
Like,
DAO. Yeah.
That's insane to me. And it's still degen. It's not like this amazing game. It's just KOLs are hooked on the idea of like showing off with it on Twitter. They just did all the little things to make all the people that are in this space, the 5% of gamers in the world, hook in and be a part.
Here's a different perspective though, because a lot of these games, they're not fully released. Now think about it. How many people do you know that play alphas, betas, or just general pre-release games and they're already buying skins from the actual gamer market? Most of them aren't. And I think that a lot of these assets will have an audience once the game comes out and then get players involved. But right now it's almost like we're essentially pre-ordering skins, right? We're grabbing these assets early. We are, and we're waiting for the games to come out. You're not going to see a lot of gamers want to do that. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the degen activity take off, because they know that once the game comes out, price go up, right? So all the people buying it now are speculators.
Right, but I think in this particular case, it's slightly a little bit different because they did everything that, they did everything as a Web3 native studio should have done, and they executed it very well, but this was their end result. And,
can I go download the game on iOS right now, or is it still closed access?
I think it's closed access at the moment because but they have been very consistent in getting people to come and play and then so on and so forth. I mean, they haven't how do I say? But they've shown more than 99% of the market in terms of like accessibility to games and their game and so on and so forth. I have to say that that they drank the Kool-Aid of Web3, which they didn't think they were drinking the Kool-Aid because they thought it was actually legitimately milk. And I know that feeling because I'm on Twitter like every day, and I'm not a native like a social media person. Like I literally felt like the oldest motherfucker in the world getting into social media because I didn't do social media before Web3. Right, I'm like Generation X, mid 70s boy, like it's not a boomer, like you guys, like you young fucks, like
you got banned so quickly on all the social media apps.
Oh yeah, I'm still like,
hold on, do you still have a flip phone or no? Do you have a flip phone or no?
Well, fuck, of course I had it back in the day, the Motorola flip phone.
No, you don't have one.
I'm talking about right now.
Oh, right now? No, fuck. I'm
you still rocking the Nokia? Tell us. Tell us straight.
I mean, he's got that.
On just the Nokias, they were indestructible. Okay.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing. Okay, so then I get into it. I sacrifice my sanity. I enter into like these, Bored Ape Yacht Club like Twitter Spaces, thinking I'm supposed to learn something. I put on speakerphone. My wife thinks like, what the fuck are you doing? Who the fuck are these insane people who are on this space? And, I navigate it. I figure it out. I don't really have any idea what the fuck I'm doing. I get adopted by the Wolves DAO, like this crippled old guy, and they let me in and they kind of show me, well, this is what, this is whatever. And I get to learn. And everyone keeps saying, oh, the game's got to be fun. Once there's a fun game, or once there's even a game out there that we can play, we're all going to ape in. Like, this is what we want. This is what Web3 does. So what happens? Yeah, I like fucking basically get my, dev into high gear, make them crunch. And we have like, demo nights. We have our like, first playable. We have our, alpha come out, whatever like that. And how many people really came out to even try the game to say whether it was good or bad or sucked? Like nothing. Like even my old holders are like, good job, Sinjin. There's more like activity in the Discord. It's gonna like moon. I'm like, yeah, but can you play the game? It's like, I don't have a PC, Oh, but you know what? To Crypto Actor, like, bro, he's such a supporter. He legitimately doesn't have one, But like everybody else is like, whatever. And then I realized, fuck. I think I did everything right. I was on Twitter Spaces for 8 hours a day sometimes, and I know what's going on in the space. I know I'm not off. I might be an old fuck, but I'm pretty sure I'm on the money here. No, there's something fucking wrong here. There are no fucking gamers. Not the kind that, it's like the messaging that you're hearing, yeah, except for one, Karen. That's why no one agrees with you.
Hey,
You're an actual
Dub.
gamer.
Dub's a gamer. I mean, he probably degens
yeah.
too, but
No, I mean, like, obviously the guys that I associate with or the guys who actually want me to speak and hang out with, I mean, we're all pretty much on the same wavelength, right? And I think we're going to make it in terms of we have the right mindset and we're positioning ourselves for that, but we're not the norm in the space, right? And here's the thing, with every speculative, like, thing that happens in every new industry, whether it's internet or railroads or radios or TVs and stuff like that, right? There's this point where there's a lot of entrants into the market, and then infrastructure is built out, and then revenue happens, right? Are we going to have this revenue moment? And we were waiting for it, of a killer app in crypto for all these years, and we really haven't. But in gaming is different. Right. And we kind of saw it with Axie Infinity, like this real potential there. And, whatever you want to judge it, like whatever, they definitely are the pioneers of Web3, hands down. Right. And they're still kind of grinding at it. But, if this moment where games actually do execute this open Web3 economy and they work and they start creating revenue, right? Every game that isn't really a game that's just fucking dicking around, they're automatically going to go to zero. And all these PFPs are going to go to zero that are gaming, whatever PFPs, they're going to go to zero as well, right? And I wonder whether or not that will be this particular time or this particular cycle. Maybe, maybe not. Because, again, making a game and what the games are supposed to be at, maybe it's a couple more years out.
Well, I mean, I think you bring up like a really great point here because you look at some of these, and we could use WAGMI Games for an example, right? Who brought on some pretty top talent, right? I mean, let's face it, they did bring on some guys with experience from the Web2 spirit, but from the Web2 gaming world. But was it enough? And it wasn't enough. And like, trust, let's not talk about WAGMI's marketing and all that fucking bullshit that they did, but let's look at the team wise of the people that they brought on, and it's like back to Sinjin's point, like I don't know if this is the space still yet for gaming or games that are just fun to play or stuff like that, because I don't know if there's enough gamers still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't think it is. I think any game that's going to be successful in Web3 is going to come out of Asia, hands down. Right. And that's why I'm basically shifting all my marketing to Asia. I love you guys. I will always be up for you guys. And whether I'm in New York or I'm in Asia, you guys are the friends I made along the way. But, my marketing dollars is not going to be spent, across the pond or in America. It's going to be entirely spent in Asia.
I can vouch for that. I'm just trying to get them to spend.
Look at the games with player-driven economies in the West, and look how they're doing. EVE Online, New World. These are games that are lucky to break 20,000 concurrent players, right? And they're not even spending money on tokens or anything like that, and there's still no appeal. So I'm not even sure in the West there is going to be a huge audience for this. I think we have to have a game come out swinging and show people why they should care. Whether that be the Dead Drop, whether that be Off the Grid, or one of these big, like super high budget, high graphic fidelity games, I don't think so.
Well, even Dead Drop and Off the Grid are not really fully Web3 games.
Exactly. But that's my point, is even if you hybridize it, I don't think that the Web3 aspect is going to appeal to gamers until there's got to be a banger. There's got to be like a Fortnite or an Among Us or something that blows up and gets people wanting to get involved.
But it's technology. Why, as a gamer, would I care about the technology? I don't care about it. Like,
the same reason people care about 4G versus 5G, or Apple versus Android, or Mac versus Linux. Like, there's
this entire
always people that care.
Has been created artificially by the trauma you guys have all suffered, because it shouldn't be this fucking difficult.
It shouldn't
be. Yeah, it shouldn't be like we have to want gamers to play our game. It should be like the gamers are there and they see the game and they're like, "Oh my god, this is a game that's cool. I want to play it. You shouldn't have to like take away their misperceptions of NFTs as Ponzi's or crypto or like, here is the fucking ultimate game of the fucking universe, and this is the only game that is now going to draw people to play Web3. It shouldn't be that fucking hard, because of course gaming is hard. We all fucking know that, but it should not be that fucking hard. This is like basically like, holy shit, I can't even give you an analogy. Like it's like you're going to a bunch of Mormons in Utah and you're like, hey, like you guys should be eating like sushi, right? Like it's good for you, right? And like here is some uni and shit like that. And they're like, we like steak and potatoes and stuff like that. But no, this is the best fucking sushi. I brought this guy all the way from Japan. I flew in all this fucking like Toro for you guys. Just try it. Come on, just try it. Like, and I literally have the best sushi, $1,000 a piece sushi for you to try, for you to like sushi. I mean, it shouldn't be like that, right? It shouldn't be like us trying to give sushi to the Mormons. And I'm sorry if there are Mormons who like sushi. I'm happy for you and stuff like that. It was the only analogy I could think of because I was thinking my buddy Sam and
but the thing is,
Fresco.
But the thing is, you don't have all these media outlets writing about how sushi bad and how sushi gives you food poisoning or this, that, and the other, right? That's kind of where we are in the West, is all these media companies are basically.
Yeah, but it's all bad. I mean, if you're going to go back in the day, I'm just going to say, and you're going to go pick up ladies.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Back in my day, we went to the nightclubs and we grinded it out on the dance floor and you made eye contact and you bought some drinks and stuff like that, right? So if you want to go pick up, you got to go to the nightclub. If you're going to the bookstore, okay, you're going to pick up there. I'm trying to figure out a place where you don't pick up chicks back in the day. I don't know, church, okay? Like you go to church
that's
and
wrong. You know how many people picked up girls at church?
No. I mean, like, go for like a one-night stand at church, okay? It's just not the place to go, you want to go for a one-night stand and get busy, go to the nightclub. If you want to get married, go to the church. I mean, if they don't want it in North America because crypto bad, crypto whatever, right? Why are we fucking killing ourselves to change this perception to get them to play the game? Just fucking come over to Asia,
Well,
somebody would take care of you.
If somebody figures it out in the West, please let us know. So that way content creators can get on the same page. We can start pitching the game together. But I
suggest you guys start learning Korean and Mandarin.
I'll work on that. But we do have a couple more topics to cover. We still have a couple more topics to cover. So I want to try to pull this forward a little bit. We did touch on the mobile side of things, but there's a new system, and I'm wondering if you heard about any of this in Asia. We've seen a few different projects spin up, and they're talking about coming out with on-chain gaming reputations. I think if I remember correctly, I think Xborg's doing something like this, and I've seen a couple of others follow suit. Is there really any benefit to this? I don't know. I'm thinking back to Steam, right? I've got my entire reputation system on Steam. I don't really need blockchain for that.
Clearly no benefit at all. Reputation systems are just hogwash. I don't even know why someone would want to build such a thing. That's crazy talk. I'm being sarcastic because that's what I've been building, Jim Karen, and maybe you don't realize that.
That's fine. No, I know, but I want you to sell me on it. Where is the benefit?
I mean, let's just understand that in Asia, reputation is a very big thing, right? I mean, Sinjin, I think even on a financial standpoint, reputation for personal financials are very big. So I think everything that's being built, again, this is a phenomenal opportunity in the Asian market. But
here's the thing, though. In at least in Korea, I know that they use identity numbers to register for games, right? So I do understand reputation. Identity. Exactly. So I do understand that they already have basically real world reputation systems, so to speak. But in Web3, a lot of this is anonymous.
Just to clarify, it's not like the social monitoring system in China, right? It's literally our SSN number that we have to give to register for games, even for anything, right? So it's just a different kind of way the system works. But anyways,
but they are trying to not necessarily track you, but they are trying to monitor in some form or fashion, correct?
Yeah, that's more of a compliance thing. I mean, because that's meant to be private, except the Chinese hackers have like basically everyone's like national ID number just to log into Korean MMO games. But
But on
it's not meant
blockchain,
to be
everything's
public.
well, that's the thing is on blockchain, everything's public, but it's also anonymous. So how are these reputation systems beneficial if I can just go sign up for it and use a fake name and everything? Are we going to start seeing more KYC? Like, Dub, what are you guys doing to like kind of make this more valid and verifiable?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an easy part actually, because there's a two-factor kind of authentication going on, because reputation takes two parts. There first has to be like an organization that has the provenance to dish out that reputation. Like some Joe Schmo just starts handing out Crest rewards. Who gives a shit? But, you know, if it's Harvard doing it, then that makes sense. But the other part of that is the game itself or the organization itself being involved. And those... You're authenticating that user is that user. Then on the platform side, they're also doing that link as well. It's typically like a backend API. In the very early days when we whipped this up, just inside Discords and everything, it was honestly the community that kind of maintained that authenticity, and people would literally like call out bad actors that were using their screenshots or using multiple accounts or things like that. It was more crowdsourced per se. And then when financial rewards get involved, that's when more authentication comes in and verification and making sure that, you know, the 150 rewards that you have on chain from a game isn't going to the guy who made 150 bot accounts, right? Like that kind of stuff comes in too, and it's a two-way street with the game and the organization that's like dishing out those rewards.
So there is some sort of KYC that'll be involved.
Not necessarily KYC. We haven't taken that step. I don't want to take that step. But it's mainly just been kind of like everything until KYC, right? Just with username verification and history and whatnot.
But what if I just spin up like a bajillion wallets and just authenticate over and over and over and over? Like what's stopping that?
Yeah, it's a hard question to ask. I mean, typically that is blocked at the games level, not really the like at my level. And it's where the game sets up a bunch of different things. Like, how would you prevent someone, Sinjin, from getting a bunch of Meijis during your playtest right now? I mean, at the end of the day, they can't replicate themselves in Discord a million times. Like that was the factor of human proof, was actually showing up into the Discord and participating and these kind of like manual steps and processes.
I think one thing too is like when we talk about reputation, it's different than, you know, wallet transactions, right? Mm-hmm. So I know there are like there are two kind of threads that are going on right now in terms of supporting infrastructure for gaming is you know, getting all these like custodial wallets or these wallets that are basically showing, you know, what you're buying and stuff like that, and for, you know, people to cross sell or to like, you know, bring it as a bundle and, you know, bring it to the next type of game or whatever. And there's reputation, and reputation is basically your, you know, as a gamer, like what is your gamer ID, right? My son, my younger son has a gamer ID and he hasn't changed it since he was 8 years old, and it's kind of dumb. It's one of those like it's kind of like, you know, like Sir Kill-A-Lot or whatever like that. If you're like 8 years old and you like, that's not his one, but it's dumb like that. But he won't change it because, you know, that's his gamer ID. Whereas my older son is different. He changes his gamer ID as he thinks, like, you know, he's changing his perception about like how he looks like or what he wants to perceive in the game and stuff like that. And myself, I had the same gamer ID. I only had two gamer IDs my entire life, right? So depending on which game that you knew me from, like if you knew me from Quake 3 and first-person shooters, I had one like gamer identity there. And then if you knew me from RTS and what do you call it? Team Liquid, I had another gamer identity there, which I'm not going to say. I'm not going to dox. I would not dox my gamer identity because there's so much shit online that I've written under those gamer identities. I never want them to go. And if it ever comes back, it's not me. some doppelganger who's pretending to be me
But
that
see-
lived a parallel life.
So we got a comment, and they said that Steam is a walled garden, which is true. I do understand that, but they have my profile is public. You can go to there's websites out there. If you go put my name in the website for my Steam profile, it'll tell you how many games I own, how many I've played, how many hours I've played, how many bands I have. So I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from, is like I already have all this in Web 2. I have my entire history. You can even see my previous usernames if I've changed my name on my account.
Can I say one thing, just to interject?
Yeah.
Do you remember like 5-10 years ago, there were other sites like Steam that were competitors of Steam, right? Where you had, I don't even remember their names anymore, and they're gone, right? They're gone because of Steam shit out of them, right? But like there were sites that you had like 7 or 8 games you downloaded, and they're like based out of Canada or whatever like that, and they went under, right? So this is like one aspect that your gamer persona lives on through whichever game and so on and so forth, if that's your thing, right? And I think that is a valid thing. Like, is it like the be all and end all of stuff? Because Dub is here, I'll say yes, absolutely. I fucking love that shit.
That's only one aspect of this equation. The other side of it is actually for reputation, for businesses, and for games. And why Steam is a walled garden is because, I can go see your profile, Jink, but I can't go make you a business offer. I can't go make you like oh, hey, here's a buy one, get one free of this skin for you to go check out based off everything you've done on Steam. And that's our other side of the equation, is helping
marketing metrics.
And targeted user acquisition more specifically. Like,
true.
If you went and did all these things in an MMO, and like I can see that, and I'm working with a new and upcoming MMO, I'm going after you to make a better offer and a better spin for that game, so that they can get the users they want. And like that's the big thing for me. Like I get it. I can go back to my Xbox gamer profile and I can show off my shit. I can find a way to flex that if I really wanted to, and I can make that happen. But what I can't do is on the business side of thing, with user acquisition and player retention and all these kind of metrics, and helping support that's what keeps me coming back and trying to iterate and to improve this business model. Because today I was even thinking about it this morning, like compared to the sporting goods market and the video games market, like the marketing in video games is just a joke. It's like they're just figuring it out or something. It's so weird.
In Web3 gaming.
No, right? in Web 2 also.
Yeah, it's just gaming in general.
Yeah. No, I don't want to say like just Web 2 in general. Maybe in America. I don't know.
The blanket shotgun approach spend tactics of video game market as a whole for user acquisition just blows me away. After like the KOL spend I've done in sporting goods before, like it's just so weird.
The perfect example is when you open Steam for the first time during the day and you get a bunch of "this is new to our platform" messages that pop up, and 99% of the games have absolutely no relation to what you typically play. I mean, it's definitely a gaming industry, not just a Web3 thing, in my opinion. And think about like YouTube ads and Facebook ads and all the different games that get advertised to you through these platforms that you probably will never touch because they don't apply to you. So I agree. I think that from a marketing and a business standpoint, these metrics could be very useful for helping Web3 games get the product in front of the right people. So that's a good point, Dub. I'm glad you brought that up. And see, this is why we have these discussions.
It's just
you guys are both
terrifying thing. Yeah, we are, because the other thing is like, if I really wanted to show off everyone's gamer reputation, I'd have to break the walled garden of Steam. And I like go back and try to figure it out like once a month, I feel like. And it's mind numbing. It's like I feel like I'm here in this chicken and the egg kind of situation where like maybe reputation is just too early for Web3 right now. And it's like, we need these games to be more mass market until that can really come in and sing.
Well, I think we're just so early though, Dub. Like it's like the games are just not there yet. Like how many fully playable Web3 games are there like forget about like the entire trifecta of like, you know, open economy and all this other stuff, the 10x, just like a not even a 10x, like just a 1x, like at the same level Web3 game that's playable that we all know about, and there isn't, right? So we're just really early in that respect. But, you know, Jim Karen, I am very disturbed by the fact that you're upset that you don't get more targeted ads properly to you, and you're upset that, you know,
I never
Steam
said I'm
isn't doing
upset.
that.
I just said these are
just
examples.
yeah, these are examples, right? So like that shows that Steam has some integrity, that they're treating you like a human being, that, you know, we're not trying to like totally take all this data and just whatever like this. Hey, I'm a Steam
sucks with their data, dude. They could do so much better, but they just don't want to put the spin.
They advertised me because I've got like 1,000 games in my freaking library, right? They just want me to spend more money. Yeah. But most of those came from bundles. So to be clear, I buy games on sale. I don't pay full price most of the time, unless it's a must-have.
Full price. I'm early access, but I didn't do it for Diablo 4. Man, I'd like to talk about Diablo 4. I mean, what happened there?
So I can tell you from my experience, I played the beta. Beta was good. I went and bought the Big Boy Founders Edition or whatever. But I did so with this in mind. Here's where the value came in. I got a mount in World of Warcraft that was a badass mount. Interoperability, ladies and gentlemen, interoperability. So I start playing the game after it drops. I play for about a week, and I'm like, this is not like the beta. The beta totally misled me on what I was going to get. And let's just say I haven't really played the game. Season 1 came out. I touched it for a little bit to try the new season. I was like, it's the same fucking game. Like they didn't change anything. How is this a season? And I haven't touched
the economy since. Too. So the seasonal.
Oh, they keep changing the drops because of the tables.
So the seasonal economy and the non-seasonal economy, they were linked. And so it caused a liquidity fucking problem. See, fucking
there were
Blizzard,
people duping gold and stuff too.
Fucked it up again. Right? But this is fucking Blizzard. Like, don't tell me they didn't hire the fucking best economists for their game. Right? Right? And they still fucked it up. You know? And then
look at Diablo 3's launch with their real world auction house. They screwed that one too. So I mean, they just need to stop with economies.
No. So this is like, okay, so Diablo 3 was still like, Blizzard was still kind of up there, right? Like, I mean, they still had like the really core talent. And it seemed like a good idea because they were solving something that was happening illegally or off, you know, whatever on eBay and stuff like that. But even then, with all the game design knowledge that they had at that time, which was considerable, right? Mm-hmm. They still couldn't pull it off, and they ended up having to shut it down. And then, they, for the expansion, they put it back up after getting all that learning and stuff like that, right? But the fact is, like, they didn't have that experience beforehand. So in a lot of ways, like, I was talking on the Gamified about Zynga and stuff like that. And, people are like, oh, they're going to get all this data and they're going to be able to make a good assessment on what to do next, right? But the kind of data that they're getting isn't really Web3 data. It is like an incremental of Web2 with some NFTs or whatever, so on and so forth. And that data is not really going to lead you to the promised land, right? I mean, there are going to be a lot of big mistakes here. The problem is the stakes are so high that once you fuck up the economy, the game's dead, right? But like, it's not because go ahead.
But do you on a business level, Diablo still was a very successful game for Blizzard, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they have there has never been this might be a TMZ level of fact because it might not be totally factual because I just heard it on this one YouTube documentary. But they said that there has never been a game that made so much money and lost so much, gross revenue, declined in so much gross revenue in the shortest period of time.
Wow.
Video game market's a bunch of noobs, bro. It just blows me away.
Well, I mean, it's I love Blizzard. I loved Blizzard, but it's not the same Blizzard. People are really upset about that. And I didn't buy Diablo 4, not because I didn't want to. Of course I did, but it was going to screw up my work schedule, so I purposely didn't. And then, I would have bought it if, like, 2 months later, my friends were playing it and they were like, "Why are you fucking not playing this game?" But 2 months later, they were not playing it, and I forgot about it. But I was early access 2 years ago with the Baldur's Gate. I popped it up and it was great.
Oh, dude,
it's
Baldur's
fantastic.
Gate. It's a prime example of if you make a great game, even if it's within a niche genre, because let's be honest, how many people are playing turn-based games every day? It's not necessarily Fortnite and Call
Well,
of Duty
they pretty
levels.
much brought it back.
Exactly. They came out. The story is absolutely phenomenal. They have so many of the D&D systems that aren't present in most turn-based games. They really went above and beyond with this game, and it shows. Like the craftsmanship, the art, the writing, everything comes through perfectly. And I couldn't put the game down for the first week. Like that's all I wanted to play. I wanted to know more about the world. I wanted to learn more about the story as it progressed. I wanted to well, I didn't want to, but there are other people out there speed running how quickly they can have sex with every character. Like there's just so many different ways to play it, and it pulled in so many people who normally wouldn't even try that type of game because of the hype and the buzz. And they set records on Steam, if I remember correctly, with how many players were playing. I think it's considered one of the most successful well, I guess I don't want to say single player because there is co-op available, but it's basically one of the most successful campaign games I think we've seen on Steam in probably a decade plus.
I thought you were going to say the most successful like sex speed running game ever.
I mean, I don't know about that. I don't really pay attention to the sex category on Steam. I do know that there is a very large category for that, especially within the visual novel industry. But I mean, I could see that too. I'm just saying. You go on YouTube. There's speed.
I'm not judging. I'm from the 80s, man. Like, don't worry about it. I'm cool with it. Whatever you guys want to fucking say, go ahead. I'm in Asia as well. Have fun, boys.
If people want to go have sex with an infernal demon with a machine heart, go for it. That's your thing, not mine. No judgment though. Everybody's got their closet of
I don't
skeletons.
think anyone should feel shame about this kind of stuff at all. It's like everyone's feeling like they got to put everything in quotation marks. It's just live free, love free, screw everything,
Well,
okay.
in other news,
make sure it's consensual though.
That's not sex related. It looks like Elon Musk is trying to get streaming over on Twitter to take off. Do you guys think that they have a legitimate opportunity to challenge platforms like Twitch?
I don't think they're basing it off Twitch. When he says like an everything thing, this is coming out of Asia. You know how many like streaming platforms we've had already that have been massive successes? We had like back in like 2014 a mass fight in China over mobile streaming platforms, right? And I think he knows these trends and waiting to see whether or not this is going to work out, or he's putting it in for his like everything app. I mean, looking at like Twitch and everything else like that, like the way that people can't monetize on Twitch, it breaks my heart, and how much effort. And meanwhile, in Asia, we have people like eating like 10 pounds of ramen, and they're fucking making a killing, like shit like this, or like
I mean, you can monetize on Twitch. They just take 50%. That's all.
Yeah. And the thing is, during these huge streaming mobile wars, I mean, like they had they even had like these things going around in China and Beijing where they had like these see-through promo cards where people would be there and they'd be streaming as they'd be in the car and sponsoring all these streamers and stuff. That's unfortunate, really. But I think Elon, he knows what's going around the world. And he's just trying to get it into, the X app.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's still a little bit of ways from an actual streaming, right? I mean, there's still a lot of features that are missing out. The thing about it is, can they capitalize on a feature that we've been asking for on Twitch or any of these other ones, right? That's where I think like the cutting edge comes in. And if you look at what Twitter and X and like the monetization and everything, there could be an advantage there to again monetize in the proper way and get rewarded for what you want to do. But again, back to the terms of like, people like watching people sleep and they make fucking killings of money. It just we don't know.
Elon's mentioned this that sorry, Karen, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so from a creator perspective, if he can get this all put together and it's usable, Because right now, let's be honest, if I stream to Twitter, it's basically a video post, right? I'm not seeing the comments in real time. The chat, like the way that the chat feature and everything works, it's not
do hearts.
ideal.
I can't send you roses for you to pick your nose like an NPC.
Yeah, but at the same
send me a
time,
rose, I'll pick my nose.
if they get the discoverability down, if they get the chat and the engagement and stuff down, being able to have my social feed, my shorts, my streams, have all of my content and everything in one place and not having to redirect users to external sites, especially when you're at the mercy of the algorithm and the algorithm hates repeated links, I think that would be a good play. But hearing the rumors that he's going to make the platform paid only, it kind of counterbalances that because I'm going to lose a lot of people who are going to move to other platforms that are free. So it's like, I want to see this succeed. I want to be able to not have to post to a bajillion different platforms to keep and engage an audience. But I just don't see it being successful until those tools that Jorge mentioned are in place and we start to see, genuine improvements in that area. Like just saying, hey, we have a creator dashboard. I go to the creator dashboard and all I can do is go live. There's not even a chat that you can view on the creator dashboard yet. So I can't even see comments people are making unless I go to the tweet anyway.
Whoa. First of all, like I've been streaming on this platform for like 6 months now and it's been great. My Twitter streams have better metrics and performance than the rest of them. I've been streaming on Twitch. I've been streaming on YouTube. I was on Xenon. Day in and day out, Twitter has always overperformed for me. And I leave my notifications page on my third monitor and I see comments and react to people. And it feels like it's in live, just like chat. So that stuff does work. Yes, it's weird, but like it can be better. And I look forward to seeing that. But like, they're
but everybody's not like me and you, Dub, with 3 monitors. There's a lot of people, a majority, believe it or not, that only have one.
I have 5.
So
well, you guys only
I
have
want
3?
your setup.
You guys only have wait, you guys have 3. I'm working off my laptop right now.
See? But
I think Twitter only has 3 devs working, right? Like, so I don't get how fast you guys expect them to work. I mean, Jesus, there's like 5 people.
Well, yeah, this part of the platform also launched during all of this leadership change. Like
no, Twitter streaming's been around for years. People forget about Periscope, the original Twitter streaming, and I've been using Twitter streams off and on for many,
that's what I meant.
years.
It wasn't like introduced by Elon or anything. Like it was Of course, it's like had roadmap issues with delivering chat and these kind of things.
But though, I want to like clarify one thing. I think what Gene Karen is saying that but while it has notifications stuff like that, it's not integrated really like a streaming UI UX yet. Right, it's just it's not robust yet there, and but one thing is like, okay, sure, Elon may have gone too big for his britches in some respects, and maybe he's a little delusional once in a while, and his judgment's not a little bit off, right? But when it comes to like, we still need to give Elon the benefit of the doubt here. I mean, it's still Elon Musk, and maybe a lot of people will give me flack for it because it sounds like I'm a massive fanboy, somewhat of a fanboy, but sometimes he can be a nerdy dickhead, right? And that happens to nerdy dickheads, right? Nerdy people who get a lot of power and whatever like that become dickheads. It's just a thing. But when we're going back to like about it being paid or whatnot, right? I mean, like in some ways, this entire free, we have been brainwashed on it as well, because now we expect everything to be free, but then in exchange you're giving your data, you're giving certain control over and also your own access. You don't really have a right because it is quote unquote free. But in paying as well, there's a different kind of relationship and an expectation from you that we will expect the service to be better. And also, let's be frank, like is Twitter gonna ever be profitable? Who knows? And I think that's a consideration for Elon as well.
Well, the thing is,
let's face it. I don't think Twitter needs to be profitable for him, right? I don't think he's looking at this for the next 3 or 5 years until he builds everything else out. So for him, he could probably take a loss on this for the next 5 years and be okay with it. his long-term vision of it. I'm sure
Technically, he has already taken a $30 billion loss on it.
Well, to back Dub's point, though, I don't really put a lot of effort into streams on Twitter, but my long and short form videos that I've been posting to Twitter have been performing and massively outperforming anything I post on YouTube. And that's why I think if you remove the element of having click through and having to get people to go to external sites, he really could be playing with fire here. And if it's something that, people got to subscribe to my Twitter or whatever to view, I'd be okay with that as long as the social element can remain free. Like roll streams into subscriptions, right? Like enable my button, let people subscribe. They can watch me there, or they can go watch me on a free platform. Saves him bandwidth if they're not watching on Twitter, right? And it gives them an option to either pay up and watch me on Twitter or go somewhere else. So I think that's the big thing, is allowing people options, but just straight up forcing people to pay for Twitter is probably going to go the opposite direction for him. I think he's going to lose more users than he's going to gain subscriptions. That's just my personal opinion.
How is Threads doing nowadays?
What?
I actually check it every once in a while.
Last week.
I was about to say, I actually check it every once in a while. People are still using it. It's not Twitter levels of engagement or activity by any means, but there are people still using it.
I have a hard stop in 10, just so you guys know.
Yeah, again, Threads. Remember, Threads is for a different generation, right? It's like for the older generation that didn't want to get into Twitter because it was too complicated to set up Twitter, or Twitter was too complicated to use, right? And so there is a market for them, but that's just a whole different topic. I
got into Blue Sky this week. Somebody gave me a code and I decided to check it out. I'm just saying, if you're used to the old Twitter and you like old Twitter, Blue Sky actually could pop off. I don't know who's running it. Somebody told me Jack's involved with it. I don't know in what form or fashion, but I tried it and I'm like, this is fucking Twitter. Like, it's what Twitter used to be anyways. So I don't know. Like, I feel like if all these options are freely available and he goes and forces paid only, why would people continue using the platform when there is dang near identical platforms spinning up for free?
Here's what I'm going to say, and try to not look at me as I'm totally delusional, right? Because it's a generation kind of weaned or raised on free everything.
I like free.
Right? Yeah. I know. Definitely, Chikara, you like free, right? But it's not really free, right? Because free means that whatever kind of services or relationship you have is purely dictated by them, because it is free, and right. But when you do pay, or the revenue is not based off of advertising, right? Then there can be, a different experience or a different type of relationship. That's all I'm saying, So automatically say that, because something is free, that, it's going to work better than something that's not free in terms of user adoption or the type of platform it is. I think it's, for the most part, you could say that's true, but not always. Not always.
I mean, I pay for Twitter and I still can't even upload GIFs reliably. I mean, the basic functions that used to work without issue are now problematic, but I'm paying for it now. I'm confused.
There's 4 devs, bro. There's only 4 devs. What do you want them to do? I don't get what you... Jesus. All right, let's wrap up the show. My Dub's got to go. Sinjin's about to go to sleep. What time is it for you?
2:30.
Oh my God.
2:24.
You're an animal.
It's okay. I wanted to do this before I left Asia and give you guys a late night, morning, time.
Well, we're going to see more Sinjin in the future for sure, though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
the only thing I want to say about Twitter, though, really quick, is that for crypto discoverability and getting known in the space, it's been the best place. And literally just a year, I went from 0 to this.
I asked around on Blue Sky. I'm like, is there even an NFT or crypto presence here? No, absolutely not. So, I agree with you, Dub, 100%. Unfortunately, we're playing the cards that we're dealt, right? And if you want to be in Web3, Twitter's the place to be. Maybe,
or you can come over to Asia.
Okay. Spin up a Blue Sky Web3 server. Let's do it.
Yo, it's we call it October 6th now?
Yeah.
Or 5th for you guys, right?
5th for us, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see in 1 year from now, like where things are at. Because I think it will be a massive difference. And then we can do this on my yacht in the Indian Ocean or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, but for today, we're going to have to wrap it up so Dub can get out of here and you can go to bed. Thank you guys for joining us for another great episode of the Block Sauce. I know it kind of ended up being a St. John episode, but that's fine. We love St. John, so we definitely wanted to give him a good welcome back and let him run with this.
Thanks, guys.
And of course, we couldn't have done it without our amazing viewers and supporters. You guys fuel our passion to continue bringing the latest topics and thought-provoking conversations that we can week after week. Remember that the sauce never stops flowing. Stay connected with us on social media. We have a Block Sauce Twitter and a Block Sauce YouTube. If you're not following or watching over there, make sure you check it out. We also have a Block Sauce website now. So if you go to blocksauce.com, you can find out more there as well. If you're a game project looking to get your name out there, St. John, you need to hit me up so we can get you on our gaming segment and play the game together and showcase gameplay, St. John.
Ooh, let's do it.
Yeah, so that's going to be it for us today, Sauce Enthusiasts. Join us next time for another thrilling episode of The Block Sauce, where we'll keep the gaming flame alive and the discussion sizzling. Stay saucy and keep it gaming in the exciting realm of Web3. Have a good one.